Using the latest technology, which is to say, our limited wits, Midjourney and an Arduino punched through a guitar pedal and an echo machine, we bring you what really made Star Wars a global phenomenon. It was their aggressive marketing campaign. Artists and styles and influential trends from everywhere were pulled in to make sure the message got out to everyone. They were ruthless in their approach. Join us on this journey of discovery. Andy Warhol, the pop artist best known for his portraits of Elvis, Marilyn Monroe and Campbell's soup cans, was employed. Knowing how influential Andy was and that he could help anyone get their 15 minutes of fame, he was quickly employed to do some mock-ups. His constant appearances at Studio 54 and allegiance with the disco crowd soon sparked the Star Wars folks to start marketing it to the disco and roller skate crowd. While they were at it, they figured, why not yo-yos and hula hoops and skateboards too? They even tried to get in on the jazzercise movement. They also looked toward more traditional artists like Leonardo da Vinci, commissioning the master to create a few posters with some of his masterworks in mind. They went after more of the masters, getting the Dutch painter Hieronymus Bosch to try out a few. Not to be outdone, Michelangelo, another Italian Renaissance artist, threw his hat in the ring. Rembrandt, determined to outdo the other Dutch painters, created a few masterpieces. The Star Wars folk soon realized that Caravaggio's dark, gloomy images would appeal and had him painting up a storm. To bring some light back into things, Johannes Vermeer was contacted. The Star Wars marketing team approached Vincent van Gogh. They knew he had an eye for things and possibly an ear too. They also assumed the Norwegian Edvard Munch could bring some energy to things. The simplicity of P.I. Mondrian's geometric shapes and primary colors were thought to appeal to all ages. Whereas the complexity of M.C. Escher's designs would intrigue and confuse many. Claude Monet was thought would soothe and confuse people all at once. Picasso, hell-bent on bringing a cubist perspective to things, really added to the confusion but did create a stir. Henri Matisse, refusing to be left out, created some beautiful works. Salvador Dali, hearing of Picasso's involvement, felt he should contribute to the Star Wars universe also. The Frenchman Marcel Duchamp brought his background in Cubism, Surrealism and Dadaism. Hans Arp also contributed works and drew on both the surreal and the abstract. Jackson Pollock, in a rare twist, although unable to entirely get rid of the paint splatters, did make some recognizable figures. Roy Lichtenstein brought his comic book style to things and brought in images for kids and adults. Mark Rothko created 3 paintings we know are very good, even if we don't know why they are good or what they are about. Norman Rockwell was brought in to try to make it more approachable and make things somehow feel like Christmas. To draw in the heavy metal crowd, Frank Franzetta created 2 memorable pieces. Grant Wood, the American painter, best known for his painting American Gothic, produced works that appealed to the small-town folk. Katsushika Hokusai, the Japanese artist, who painted the Great Wave off Kanagawa, brought a much-needed different perspective. In this way, North American West Coast indigenous artists were brought in to create some fine works. Also, they had posters made in the ancient Egyptian traditional style, as well as cave paintings. In keeping with that primitive motif, Jean-Michel Basquiat produced some unforgettable works for the Star Wars marketing team. Soon after, his contemporary, Keith Haring, was contacted and works were commissioned. Frida Kahlo, the painter from Mexico, created some imaginative works and found a way to inject herself into the project. Banksy was not commissioned but instead graffitied some of the theaters playing the film. Trying to capture the kids' audience, some posters were made with Cabbage Patch Kids. And then some with beings that kinda looked like Smurfs. They actually turned out kind of creepy. Then of course there was Lego. At a low point, trying to get everyone's interest, they started marketing to cats and dogs. We hope you have enjoyed this journey through the Star Wars marketing campaign. You probably have if you are still here, or you are in some sort of distress and need help but are unable to turn this off and operate a phone. That is unfortunate. Apologies would be in order to the artists whose names were brutalized by the text-to-speech, but we believe they are dead.